A special thank you to Glenn Kramer, Mark Ware, Byron Colley, Steve Dix, Bill Schreiber, Christopher Hunt, Felix Rodriguez, James Rogers, Norman Fair, Daniel Mayer, Kyle Sarpolis, Leland Lampkins, Lonnie Meisner, Michael Douglas, Paul Wood, Michael Scott, Samuel Draney, and Tom Champion.
Well, welcome back. It's Sunday, and we're starting off a new week. And the reason it's Sunday, I'm here at home by my lovely slot car track. I'm sitting here working on the Enterprise E, working on this saucer section, and obviously I'm not using the selfie stick or the tripod. I'm using my hand. So, but I've been working over here for a while, and let's take a look. Yes, you are seeing a Kerbal. That's Bob or Ken, I can't remember. And that's how he feels when things are going wrong in a spacecraft. If you don't know about Kerbal, look into it because it's really quite good. Let's take a look at this. I managed to get in all of the... there we go. All the saucer section is now got all its windows in. And that's a heck of a lot of windows, folks. I mean, ultimately it looks really good, but I need to do a little tidying up all the way around it. You'll notice that also we have the bottom done as well, and all the window lights. And the funny thing is that the paint kind of chips when you're scribing it off, so you have to go back in with the scribe and clean them up a bit and add some paint to clean them up too. And I just realized that's what I was looking at. I didn't put these windows in here on that side, so I got to do that. But ultimately, it's looking pretty good. Now you see how the edges are glowing. That all has to be painted over rather heavily to light block, because what's happening is that the plastic itself is acting like a piece of side lit plexiglass. It's transmitting light all through it. The windows are a little wider open on this side than this side, and I actually like this side better. It's really more to my liking, but that's typical of what happens when you start something like this. Towards the end, you find the best way to do things. And so basically, I'm going to go back in here with some bit of paint and tighten these up to look smaller. But I think, yeah, it looks pretty darn good. And it's really lit up. So that's a lot of windows. So we can actually paint over some of those. But that's what I've been doing this weekend, and we'll be back at the studio tomorrow. Here we are, it's Monday, I'm at work, and as you can see in the pictures going by, you can see how this box was packed, and that's the Battlestar Galactica. And over here, we're starting in on the engineering section. I'm going to put a strip of lights in here just the way I did on this, and then I'm going to close it up to halves and start scribing windows. Okay, so we're moving on to the engineering section. And so I've got some lights in there temporarily. I've also painted all these parts here. As it turns out, there were windows on this piece here. And then this has to be blacked out because that's where the deflector goes. Not much worry here, but I have, when I spray the white on and then the gray, it all has to match. Otherwise, there's a difference in color. So if you had a black base to start with, you need to put on the white, then you need to put on the gray so it all looks the same as the hull looks. And as it turns out, these are very, very tight. But I was able to use the rainbow wire and get it to fit inside. So using this stuff here I got from Randy. That worked very well, so they close up really good, but I have to paint them first. But I'll be able to run power up there just fine. So what I'm doing now, of course, is I'm turning it on its side and scratching windows out slowly but surely. So, and they're very tiny, so they're you don't have to do much, just a lot of them. Well, there's those, and they're not done yet, but I got one side nearly done. I stand over it there. Now you can see. Though it's looking pretty good. It's a lot of work. It's taken me an hour or so to do that many. And I have more to do down here and down in here, but not too many. And that's how it looks when there's just regular lights on it. Well, lighting anyway. You can see it pretty well still. It's showing up good. Okay, so we got the other side of this now. You can see the lights all the way around both sides now. So that's good. And of course, we've got some light blocking doing this. This has no windows, so it'll just be aluminum tape. There's gonna be a lot of aluminum tape around here. Okay, we've got glowing nacelles that don't have hot source points. And we've got really nice nacelles because I used this diffusion that Randy gave me, and I put it in here. Now, I don't have the glass covers on, or I do have these on, which are the glass, or I don't know what they are, and supposed to be in real life. But you see the nice hot spot, like they kind of have. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. And what I did to get that neon tube, this was an idea of Randy's, was to use this material here and put a bright LED at both ends. I had strip lighting that he gave me. I don't see what I did with it, but which is really nice, really hard to solder. And it was very sourcey, even with this material. And his original idea was to put the two blues on the end, which I was skeptical about, but you know, once I turned the lights off and everything, it looks great. So I didn't realize I didn't have it set on 9 volts, and you can see the difference. It's the camera still doesn't get it the way it really is. It glows a lot more, but God, I'm really happy. Hi, happy days here at the SNG Studio. I'm hiding back here in my studio, my office, with all the wonderfulness all around me to make me happy. Because right now I'm trying to work in my bay, and we've got workers next door, and they are blaring loud music. They've got, well, I'll show you. They got I wanted to take the Fiat today, because I just got new tires on her finally. I've been saving my money for it so I can drive this car confidently. And thought I'd go over to the hobby shop, get some materials I need for this. And then that happened, blocking my door. And it'll probably be there for like 2 days. That's what happened last time. Because people just don't think about anybody but themselves. Isn't that charming? So, my nerves are rattled because I'm trying to do very sensitive work here, and I've got all kinds of interference going on here at the studio. I feel like taking this home, and I just might. So I will talk very loud so you can hear me over my rude neighbors. Can you tell I'm in a good mood? I'm not. So here we go. This is what I'm doing, what I'm working on right now. And that will be light blocked, of course. And then we've got the little, you know, it won't even focus on my hand. What is wrong with you, phone? Anyway, those are going to be the strobes that go in the cells. And there has to be 2 of them here. And I don't know if you can see any. Okay. On top of that, I don't like their music. It'd be one thing if it was something good, but it's not. So I don't know if you can see this or not, but because I'm not really seeing well under these conditions, I have to drill a couple holes and then get that little light to be down in there, and then they'll come out here. So that's what I'm working on now. So I'm going to solder this up, light block it, get it in here, and we should have that all going. Now you can see what I did, which was Randy Newbert's idea to get the nice glow effect without any kind of sourcey stuff going on. And this is the red light here that goes up here for the nacelles, for the buzzards. Not that you can hear me over my latest noise. If I put myself close enough to this, you can see what I've made here. And everything's in there. It's connected to the board, which could have been shorted out by that. It's quite bright. I wish it would focus, but if I get further back here, you can see it's pretty bright. And when it's just down to seeing these by themselves, you can see it's great. They're too bright if I use the lights by themselves, and the lights are too big. So now I've got to put this together and drill the holes for the two anti-collision lights. You know, it wouldn't be so bad. They just had their compressor on their side, but it's right up against my door. They don't speak English, not well, and I just don't want to rock the boat around here, even though I've been here 10 years. So, sorry if you can't hear me. This little tool here works very well for drilling and using small drill bits, and you just hand drill. If you try to use a big drill on this, you could really cause a lot of damage. And now they got those holes drilled. I can then tape this. Adam Savage doesn't have these problems because he owns the entire building. Something I'd love to do. Or at least have this building be standalone, meaning that there wasn't another unit next door to it. So, we're blinking here. I'm going to put a piece of tape over this twisted wire because I don't want to short. And I'm known for blowing boards out because I'm careless sometimes, so I'll just do that. And I just want to see how this is going to work, if it works. So we're going to run one out this hole. We have to cram this in here somehow. There really isn't a lot of space in here. We get one right here. And the only way I'm going to be able to keep it there, which is going to be a really good trick, is probably to glue it somehow. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. This may not work at all, but well, it might. I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue this down in here. Down like in here. Somehow. Maybe back in here and put longer pieces on and then close it and then drag them into the slots and pinch it shut. So that seems to work out pretty well. I don't have them cut flush, but you can see they I can get it closed and they're pretty bright. As bright as they need to be. And I got them in both places with a single bulb. So that's very promising. Now let's light up the rest of it, and if it works, then that means I can move on to the next nacelle. Struggling to be heard still. We have a fully lit up nacelle with anti-collision light, strobes in the back. We got our blue glow, we got a red glow. I think this is a total success. Now, the problem is going to be getting this stuff here through these very thin nacelles. So I did some hogging out here. I was able to get one through it originally, thinking that one would do it. It won't, because I've got one going to the strobes, I got one going to the blue, and one going to the red. Now I could probably consolidate the red and the blue, perhaps, if I put the resistors inside the nacelle, which there's no room, and just run them both off one cable. Then it'd only be two cables coming out instead of three. but I might be able to do it. There is some opening in this when these are closed, so that's the next thing I need to find out before I go any further. Otherwise, I'd be wasting my time. I think it's this. No. This noise level is just exasperating. That's what we got. So you can see they're very, very thin, and the wire's thin too, the rainbow wire, but it's not that thin. So it's going to be a challenge. If I had some magnetic wire, which is used for armatures on electric motors, I maybe could run that through, but I don't have any. So, and I've always found it problematic because what goes wrong with this stuff, I think this might be some here. What goes wrong with this stuff is it breaks inside the shielding and you don't know it, and then you put everything together and it doesn't work. So I'd rather use this. We'll see what I can come up with. Okay, I've been busy. So what I've done here is I now have one cable coming out of this nacelle to light up everything that isn't lit by the board. Now the board, we have the strobe light coming from here, and it's going into here, which goes to the two fiber optics and the LED that's under here. Got all this stuff in. So now I should be able to cram all this in there and just have two cables coming out instead of four. So far so good. Everything crams back in there. Now to close it up. Okay, we're all powered up. You can see that the nav board is working fine, and that's the nav lights themselves. And then you see we've got these guys blinking away, both sides. Okay, we got our blue glowing down in there, really nice, and I mean it's really, really nice. And we got our red, and we've only got two cables, which means that putting all the LEDs, the resistors up inside and shrink tubing all of them so they'll never short, work perfectly. So let's tomorrow duplicate another one of these, and that'll be both nacelles, and we can then start working on this and put in the deflector, the strobes that blink there, since the fiber optics are so successful the way they work, nice and bright. But, you know, these will be inside, much like right down flush. I can't push them in all the way right now. I don't want to until I close it up. But you see that they look just like they're the right size. They're, you know, the LEDs would have been too big themselves. So we'll get all that happening tomorrow. So this is how, again, I give tribute to Randy Newbert for coming up with this idea. So we got a blue LED down here and a blue LED down here, and the resistors built in both ends. I put them on there, and you turn it on, and you got yourself a nice neon tube. Now the camera doesn't show it the way it looks. It shows it very bright down here and very bright down here, but that's not how it is. There, that shows a little bit better. When it's inside here, it looks like the way the other one did, but it there it is without, there it is with on. But for some reason, it's overexposing that. So we want to expose this area. And of course it won't do it. So now that's hot glued in position. And you can see the two connecting points there. Now I got to get it in. The red one goes up here, and the white one that goes back here, hooked to two LEDs, to two fiber optics that do the blinkies. Oh, that takes care of the red one and the blue one. And when I close this up, plus the diffusion's in, you can see how that looks really cool. So it still looks sourcey, but I'm telling you, that's the camera. So that's how it looks in person. Okay, so both nacelles are now finished. This one is a little sourcey for some reason. I guess they both are a little bit, but overall, they look really good. They got nice bright strobes blinking on both of them. And we got a blue and we got a red. This one's got this one has the covers that it's supposed to have, which are sort of inset. And I'm not sure why that is. I know I've got them on there right, but they fit kind of inset. The little glass guys, these, personally, I like it better without them, but these guys here. So I thought they'd fit more flush up in here, and they don't. They're just inset as you can get, but it still looks really good. The diffusion looks really good. Once again, the camera's not really showing things how they really are. For some reason, that one looks more evenly lit, and I don't know why. It's the same technique on both of them. So maybe it's just the camera. I don't know. Anyway, that finishes off both the cells. That one just bugs me. I don't know why it's not glowing as much in the middle, but it probably is because the tube got collapsed by the wires a bit, so I can fix that. But they're both done, and they're both, the strobes are working really bright. And now what I have to do is seal them up and close them up and touch up the paint and put the decals on them. But I won't do that until we do this, which I'm going to attempt to put the deflector dish in now, and there's one blinky that goes down there. So little test here on the deflector. You'll notice that it has the black ribbing in it, and you might wonder how it is I got that to do that. Well, it's a real tough secret. I took a very fine Sharpie and I forced it down into little grooves in there, and then quickly rubbed it off with my finger, and it looks much better than just leaving it without it. It gives you that feel. And and then some aluminum tape on the back, and I used the diffusion Randy gave me, which is this milky white stuff here. Thank you, Randy. This stuff, wonderful. So that worked out really well. I'm going to put it in there and hook it up. Keep in mind, of course, this is not closed up. Not everything's painted. There's some parts that go in here, but only here and here, and this is just open, which is really weird. There's a part that goes in here for the stem that comes out for the brass, but I'll be using a thicker brass tubing, as you see there. Very pretty stuff to run the many wires down it, which actually at this point there won't be as many as I thought, because most of them will be one for the board, and actually these all coming up inside the board will be going up in there, but there's not as many as I thought. It's best to keep it in the base, because if something goes wrong and the base is the chevron, then that can be replaced. You don't have to rip the model apart. Now, so I'm going to turn it on, and you see the deflector. And that really, really is successful. I don't know what it looks like. You can see the lights in the hull. Engineering section. I'm going to turn off the lights to see how it looks with the lights off. And there you get a real sense of how this model is going to look when it's all done. The yellow is just bright enough to cast that nice glow. A lot of people overlike these. That looks absolutely fabulous. I'm very happy with this. Very, very happy with this. So what great results. Truly, really amazing. So that's going to end it for this week. With the SNG Studio update, the weekly update, I think that I got really far ahead on the lighting. Of course, I'll be working on a blinky that goes here and the saucer section next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for the new Buy Me a Coffee subscribers and supporters. Geez, I have a whole 26 now, and 20 of you have actually pledged money or subscribed to a monthly. Thank you so much. It means so much to me and Mary to have that support, because it really helps us at the studio a great deal. See you next week.